Hey everybody, welcome back to the episode on Mighty Mall Shop Creations. Today I'm going to be showing you my second update on my Johan 1965 Rambler American 440. So without further ado, let's roll the intro. Alright, so I guess I'll show you the motor first. So if you remember from the last video, this part wasn't on, so I had to glue it back on. This piece is also not on, and the rest of it was assembled, but I decided to glue the pieces back on because I figured it's just easier to do that so I don't have to paint all these individual pieces different colors, because I had the hand paints and the brushes to do it with, so I just figured I may as well just hand paint them. But I'll show you, it fits perfectly with the chassis. See, the thing lines up perfectly with the rest of the exhaust. And nothing else was done to the chassis. I'll show you the rest of it, but just the same as last video. And we have the two interior seats. Both of the tops are glued on now, because I think before one of them was broken off. Sorry. I took off the seat belts because I'm going to paint them separately, and they weren't glued on the best. So that's why there's lighter spots on the seat. But all cleaned up. Oh yeah, I think I took both of them off because I wanted to glue one of the headrests straight, and it did, so that's good. Next we have the car jack. This is actually very commented about item on my last video, because I wasn't quite sure what it was. So here it is. I thought this base was a shifter boot, but it's actually for the car jack. So super cool. And we also have another piece of the car jack. I don't know how it goes on, but that is it right there. It's I forget what it's called. But actually, before I go any further with the updates, my dad was talking to one of the guys at our model car club, and he has an opened Rambler American kit. So we asked him if he could send us photos of the instruction sheet, and he did. And I'll show you guys, like, just the inventory and whatever. But I don't know if this oh, the lights. Hold on, let me turn off the light. But there's the instructions. So there's the engine assembly, which I already knew. And then here's the interior assembly. So we have the steering wheel, and I'll show you that in a bit, actually. And I noticed there are two shifters that are like knobs, and I only have one. So I'll have to either scratch build one or find one. And we have the seat belts and the seats, so that's all good. And then this is the custom option down here. I can't really zoom in on it, but it's a custom option on the bottom. We don't have any of those pieces. I wasn't planning to do it the custom way anyways. Here is the custom engine assembly, chassis assembly and wheels. And then there's final assembly, or semi-final assembly, with the trunk pan. And then we also have final assembly here. And this is what really pointed out a lot of things that we were missing. So there is a bowling ball bag that we don't have, and there's a tennis racket that we don't have right there. But we have the luggage, and we have the cooler, and we have the jack. Another thing that we do not have is, where'd it go? Oh, I think it's down here a little bit. There, for the custom options, there were sunken aerials, which actually I think we might need to get some. And then there were spotlights, which we do not have. And I wasn't planning to do it because, again, I'm not doing the custom version. There were lake pipes and a whole bunch of custom grill options right there. I don't know if that's showing up okay on camera. Oh yeah, there was a hood scoop, which is kind of cool. But anyways, that's the instruction booklet that I do not have, but it's on my phone, so it's okay. That was just for inventory purposes. Next, I guess I'll show you the bumpers. Nothing has been done to them yet. These will be resprayed. As you can see, it says 65. In my last video, I said it was a 64 Rambler, but this is actually the 65 version. Yeah. Here's the trunk pan. And I sanded down the glue parts very smooth, so it doesn't affect any of the other pieces. And more random bits. This is the custom version for the engine. I'm not going to be using this. There's the top of the engine again. I'll be painting that. Here's another top part of the engine. Intake. Or no, air cleaner. Sorry, that's the air cleaner. But I will be painting that one as well. Here's the radiator fan. I don't know if I'm going to paint it. It looks pretty fine the way it is. And the rear view mirror. I'm going to obviously be painting this one because the paint's all rubbed off at this point. I'll show you the cooler and the suitcase that we have. That's them. I don't know what colors I'm going to paint them yet. Probably brown and like maybe a blue or red cooler. I don't know. And this is cool. So remember, if you watched the last video, you would have noticed that this headlight is completely broken off from the rest of this. But I managed to glue it back on, and I puttied around the outer edges of this piece here. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, yeah, there's the putty. Oh, there's a bug in there. What the heck? There was a bug in there, dude. That's so gross. Ew. Yeah, I just killed it. But anyways, as you can see, so first off, I glued it with the Tamiya extra thin cement. Just melted it together lightly. And then I used Smith Industries glue. I think you can see a little bit of it still. It's all dry now though, but I glued it all around in here, all in the cracks. And then I went over with Tamiya putty. I'll grab it really quick to show you. I used this Tamiya putty to putty around the outer edges with the rims because it was broken. As you can see, there's the rim there and it's broken, but I did that with a toothpick and it worked pretty well, or I think so at least. But it does fit on the body, and I'll show you that in a bit. But here's the rest of the interior. So here's the dashboard. Oh, there's a piece of loose plastic there, but here's the dashboard and steering wheel. I managed to glue it all back together with Tamiya cement, the thin stuff, and I was surprised that I was able to do it because it was not cooperating at first. But if you remember my last video, it was literally just this little piece here and the bar, because all the rest of this was off. But I managed to piece it back together and it looks pretty good. I'll be sanding that later today. And I'll show you all the tires. So we have 5 tires, and on the instruction sheet, I should have pointed this out, but there was a spare tire, but we do not have the spare tire rim. I'm sure we can find a different one. But all I did with the tires is I cleaned them in hot soapy water, and then I quickly dunked them in cold water, and it cleaned up very well. I'm going to be using these rims for the rest of the kit. And yeah, and here is another piece of the front grille. I didn't know what this was at first, but it's a piece of the front grille or something like that. Camera's not, there we go. But that's that. And then we have the seat belts, 2 of them. Gonna be painting those a different shade of I don't know yet. I'm thinking of painting this car green. I'm not quite too sure what these pieces are yet. Don't really know. And here's the glass. So I haven't done anything to the glass yet, but I will later today. I'll do the car polish method with the Dremel. And also, I mean, this one isn't really too bad, but there's a couple of, yeah, see, hazy scratches and stuff. I'll try my best to fix that one up. I'm not too sure about this one. There's a big glue hazy spot. I can like feel it. And yeah, just really cracked and such. I'll try my best to fix it. If not, worst case scenario, I just either take another piece of glass off of a different kit, or I just scratch build glass, which is kind of balls, but it's okay. Here is the trunk lid. There were lots and lots of cracks and stuff, and I wanted to make the trunk lid fit as tight as possible to the body, so that's why there's a whole bunch of thick putty around the edges. I'll be sanding it smooth. I won't paint it yet, obviously. There's the little Rambler logo. But yeah, so it's not too bad on the trunk, but it was really bad on the hood. If you remember, this whole front piece was like chipped and cracked and stuff. But I puttied it over, and you can still see it. There's a deep hole in the putty right there. I'm gonna have to putty that over a few times. But nothing really needed to be done on the outside edges, just under here where it cracks, or where it was cracked. And, oh, it's not last but not least, we have, I'll showcase one of the chopped up rims. I can't even grab it, hold on a second, there we go. So we have the Rambler rim and the rear part where you connect this to the body, or the axle, sorry. And I separated the two, but in my last video, if you watched it, you would have realized that they were stuck together. But what I did, I'll pop some photos up right now. I took one of these small metal vice grip things, attached it onto my desk, put foam in the middle of it, and chopped it with this red, like, microblade knife my dad got when he was a kid. And I just went at it, and I cut all the way through, and then I took this sandpaper right here, and I just smoothed it down around the edges, because some of them were uneven and whatnot. They fit without ever touching, so I'm just going to glue them to the actual tire. See, they're just friction fit in there. They fit. And another thing, I noticed that we were missing a side view mirror from the model kit. That's okay. And I found, well, my dad and I found, I think it's, the 1969 Chevy Nova had a really accurate mirror to the one that we were looking for. So it's a 2-piece, but it goes almost exactly like the one on the real car is. There's the 2 pieces I will be using for the side view mirror. Actually, a thing that I want to point out that's really interesting. Actually, I'll do that after. I want to show you the body. So this is the body of the car. I puttied all around the edges where it was cracked and whatever. Remember, there were big glue blobs here and there, like really bad, on the front fenders and near the side on the doors. And I ended up putting the front piece in where the bumper goes, right here. So it slides in very nicely. You're not going to see it, but I puttied it over because I didn't want gaps to show. If you remember, this piece back here was completely broken. I glued it with the Tamiya thin cement again, and I puttied it over. So I'm going to be sanding that down today, and I just did the same thing here for the cracked roof. But yeah, so that's the body. Oh yeah, I couldn't get the taillights out no matter what, so I'm just gonna have to paint over them after I do the body color and whatever. But a thing that I want to quickly show you guys, I think it's always important to have organizing tables and stuff. So as you can see right there, there's that's 12 drawers. They're only small, but from what I did, you can see there's each of the matching rims. When I cut them apart, I put them together so that way if I had to have them in a certain order, I'd have them. Down here is the rear view mirror, side view mirror I showed you. These are all custom parts from a different build that I was going to do from a while ago, but that's besides the point. Oh, I didn't show you the interior. Here. I'll just do this while holding the camera. But I glued the entire middle console inside. I'll just hand paint over that when it's done. One of the shifters is in there, but we're missing one, so I'll have to find a different one. I don't know if I showed this in the last video, but I'm most likely going to be doing it this color of green. It shows up a lot lighter on camera, but I promise you it's a little bit darker. If you remember my DeSoto video, it looks similar to that color, but this one's darker, so it'll give a different contrast. Now that I have the camera out and about, I may as well show you what my dad's working on. So this is the 1968? Yeah, 1968 Dodge Dart Hemi. And he's doing it as the Drag-On Lady, because he loves Drag-On Lady stuff. He is planning to build an AMX out of the Johan kit. We have a built one. We have a couple built ones, actually, but I'll show you. Yeah, so there he did the decals, he did the paint. I did around the chrome with the Malta chrome pen because he was worried he was going to slip and mess it up, because he hates using chrome pens. But there's the engine back there, I'm pretty sure. And then this is a side build that he's working on. It's a 1985 Hearst Oldsmobile, and he's doing it Pro Street. So he just literally took a Pro Street body, underbody, and put it on top, or underneath. And he's like retrofitting the interior, as you can see. He chopped it, and yeah, because he wants to do a stock version, Pro Street, and a race version, like a full-on race, kind of like the Revell's 57 Pro Sportsman, like something like that. And he wants to build one, the Brome edition, because that's his first car that he drove. But here's the interior for the Hemi Drag-On Lady kit. Alright, so that is it for today's video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Turn on the post notifications so you don't miss an upload from me. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.